Sony's president calls out Bungie in a recent news article. In today's video, we're going to dive into all those juicy details. Let's go ahead and jump into this. This comes to us from the VideoGamesChronicle.com. Sony president wants Bungie to be better at assuming accountability for development timelines. Very interesting. Sony president and PlayStation chairman Hiroki Totoki has said Bungie could be better at assuming responsibility for its development timelines. During a Q&A session following Sony's latest financial results briefing, Totoki was asked for an update on Bungie and whether he had any initiatives planned for the studio in the next financial year. Totoki replied that while he was impressed by Bungie's ability as a video game developer, he felt it could make improvements from a business perspective. Now that is definitely true, and obviously we do know that Bungie has suffered that recent 45% revenue loss where they didn't meet their goals by whatever crazy means, because literally we know that they met the Steam Platinum Award right there, so they sold really well, but they obviously are just not doing as well in sales in other ways. So they actually are calling them out here a little bit. The Sony president is. They have, I visited, a quote from them, "I visited the Bungie studios and had meetings with the management," he said, "and I saw that employees working at the studios were highly motivated, showing great creativity as well as an impressive knowledge of live services." The next part reads, "However, I also felt that there was room for improvement from a business perspective with regard to areas such as the use of business expenses and assuming accountability for development timelines. I hope to continue the dialogue and come up with some good solutions." So obviously I think that Bungie are spending a little too much money in certain areas. Perhaps this was the reason, and perhaps this is part of the motivation for some of those layoffs, trying to lay off certain individuals that maybe were causing the Bungie a little bit too much money, perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to dive into some of this later on here as we go through this. And then obviously accountability for development timelines. Now Bungie has obviously had to delay Destiny DLCs many times and extend seasons on various different occasions. And so I think that it's also a fair criticism to say that Bungie does struggle a little bit with their timelines. Next reads, when Totoki originally answered this question last week, the live English translation provided by Sony referred to PlayStation Studios in general, which now they said, however, Sony has now released a new official translation, which it says is intended to replace the simultaneous translation of the question and answer session previously provided. And this new translation refers to Bungie specifically, not Sony, PlayStation Studios in general. Next up we have, it was reported in December that Bungie's position as an independent subsidiary of Sony Interactive Entertainment is under threat. Obviously this is due to who is sitting at the the board of directors, right? Then we have, when the PlayStation maker announced its intention to acquire the Destiny studio in 2022, it said Bungie would continue to operate independently, maintaining the ability to self-publish and reach players wherever they choose to play. And obviously that caveat comes with the potential decline of Destiny 2 and its success and its how much revenue it pulls in. However, at IGN, report stated that the company's board structure is contingent on Bungie hitting certain financial goals, and if it fails to do so, Sony can reportedly choose to dissolve the existing board and assume full control of the company. So it's obviously right on the edge there, considering the financial issues that Bungie has had. That would be a crazy time whenever that news story does go live. If Bungie continues to struggle a little bit, Sony taking over that will be a wild thing to see, and we'll see if Sony can be more successful with Destiny 2 than Bungie has been. Next up we have, last October, Bungie staff were reportedly warned that revenues was running at around 45% below projections for the year, which is said to have been attributed to poor player retention for Destiny 2. Like I mentioned before, Lightfall actually sold really well, but the player retention has been very low. Struggling to meet its targets, and with the threat of a potential Sony takeover looming, Bungie's leadership reportedly embarked on a wide-ranging cost-cutting plan that saw 100 of the studio's 1,200 employees laid off. Next, we have Bungie officially delayed the upcoming Destiny 2 expansion, The Final Shape, in November, originally given a February 27th, 24 date, which would have been next week, by the way, sad day. The Final Shape will now launch on June 4th. Totoki assumed the role of chairman of SIE last October, ahead of CEO Jim Ryan's retirement, and will act as interim CEO from April 1st, so he will be taking a more hands-on approach with the company's games division. So there you have it. We have the Sony president calling out Bungie a little bit there. Let me know your thoughts about that down in the comments below. I think that everything he said is a fair criticism. Obviously, Bungie does need to work on hitting these tight deadlines. I know that crunch is a big issue within game development, where studios will basically pressure their game developers to get everything done on a very tight, nice timeline. Now, obviously, we as the consumer enjoy when things arrive on deadline. Like sometimes people will literally take off work during this period of time so they can do the new raid or enjoy the new Destiny expansion. It's not uncommon to hear stories like that, and people do that. Comment down below if you've ever done something for that nature, or if you just called in sick, right? And so we like a nice tight deadline. We like things to be on a good schedule. It also is a lot healthier for the game, so that way we don't get these extended periods of time. Like, for example, this season being extended by so much time, and now we have to basically think about what filler we are going to use in the meantime. And it obviously does feel like filler. Obviously, the Into the Light event hasn't come out yet. We'll see how much of a filler event that feels like, but it's obviously not going to feel nearly as good as a new expansion, Destiny 2. We're all kind of just sitting around waiting for the final shape, and a massive delay to the final shape is really unfortunate, and Destiny 2 and Bungie needs to do better at keeping those timelines really tight and giving us a really healthy schedule of things to come. That way you're always excited to log into Destiny 2 and keep that player retention really high. So I actually really like that the Sony president kind of called them out a bit here. Hopefully this sends a powerful message to the Bungie studios. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the news in Destiny 2. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.